Well, hello everyone. This is Ferocious Knight with Coach Training World, and I am with a very special guest today. Someone I've actually known for, we've just calculated, over 22 years. So this is not only an awesome interview, and I'm really thrilled to be introducing you to Marika and her company, Elevate Real Estate. But there's a lot of history here, so I have a feeling we're going to have some fun. So,
For sure. Yes.
so actually, we actually met back in the music days when I was a musician, and you were actually one of our dancers for our performances.
Go dancer.
Yeah, that was awesome. And look at us here, decades later. Oh my gosh. So,
Decades, don't say decades, Ferocious.
okay. Last year, see? That's awesome. Oh. And one of the things that I absolutely love about you is you have always been about the relationship, about communication. And, I'm going to ask you in a little bit to talk about your history, kind of what brought you to where you're at today with your business. But one of the things I really loved was when you decided to join us with the coach trainings to kind of really, what I would say, top off your toolkit, because you had an amazing toolkit. And what I notice a lot these days is there are also a lot of other people in high human touch professions like real estate that are coming in, getting these skills so that they can really serve their clients better. And one of the things that I really want to talk about with you is how that works as a person that works with people all day long, with big decisions, with all the stress, to get focused, make the right decision. And I'm imagining in this tough market where houses are pretty hard to get, there's a lot of communication, a lot of relationship parts. So that's what I'm going to explore today with you. And I'm hoping you could kind of give us a little idea of your background so we can kind of get to know you, and we'll start from there.
Absolutely. My background, I was raised by German parents, first generation German, had an amazing upbringing, really awesome parents, that has definitely set the foundation for me, and I can't thank them enough. From there, my free spirit, my need to learn and explore all the time has definitely got me where I am today. And not being afraid to step outside of the box and do things that, maybe sound a little risky. I've always been absolutely happy that I've done those things.
Yeah.
So more about, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you could speak up a little bit louder, just because we're a little quiet. She's very quiet all the time. This is especially not a good time.
Don't be quiet now. Okay. Another question?
Well, so I know you were a massage therapist.
Oh yeah.
And then, which was a high touch, literally, but also a lot of communications. And then you moved into real estate.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that and that decision?
Absolutely. Went into massage when my son was 3 years old, decided that I needed to have a flexible job and be a mother at the same time. Very important to me. And so I found a practice that would work for that, and that was massage. And through massage, I have been able to really hone my listening skills. I've always been a good listener, but to really hone my listening skills and make sure that the people that I was working with really knew that I was there, present for them. And the presence is what is really important in this, is that to be a really good listener, you need to make sure that you're in the moment. You're listening to your people. You're not in your own agenda. It's all about your client, not about me. And with massage, 20 years of massage, I made that a very strong practice of mine. And so since 2007, I've been doing real estate, and practicing real estate is also you have to be very present with your people. This is the biggest decision that they're going to be making. And it makes it such an important piece to be very present with people.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And, I'm imagining by being present then, especially in that context, you can hear a lot of different things. And you probably can hear some of the stuff that's happening in the person's mind that may be either helping them make their decisions or their choices or get clear. Could you talk a little bit about that, and probably a little bit louder again, because
Okay.
you're fading out on me.
Absolutely.
We'll get trained.
Yes. Honing in on skills, I would say the biggest part that's important is to ask the questions, to make sure that I am asking my clients, my customers, all the right questions. What is the most important feature of the home? What do they really care about? What do they need to come home to at night? Those are the questions that need to be asked. And then staying present with that and, moving forward.
Yeah. So when you ask those powerful questions, and I mean, some of them I really like, because it sounds like you're putting them in the context of the future, this future place as if it was true now, that what we talk about in coaching, that future pacing. What do you notice happens?
What do I notice happens?
Yeah, with the client.
With the client, what happens for people is that they are able to really take a leap forward, and see that this house, this home, whatever they're coming home to, that's so important to them, is a piece of their future financial freedom.
Mm.
They get to see, in my educating them, they get to see that this is, yes, a home that they get to come home to, that's peaceful, that's everything that they need, or it's their first home ever, and they get to see that this is their next stepping stone to the home that they have dreamed of. There's so many levels to real estate and buying, and whether you're in the beginning and buying your first home, or if you own a home or two and want to buy your vacation home, there's so many levels that can help a person get to where they need to go through real estate.
Mm. What I'm hearing is almost like long-term financial decisions that are not only filling the heart with the best home, but
yeah, absolutely.
Kind of that future backing.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what is so important, to make sure that, to me, and I'm hoping that I'm, conveying that to my customers, my clients. I personally have realized that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I have purchased a few homes now, only sold one. I have a rental and a fourplex that I am managing, and I know the steps. Back up a little bit to my family. My parents own some real estate, and watching them manage that and take care of that, and what it gave them to bring them to the retirement age was huge. So
Mm-hmm.
being a kid, teenager, adult, watching that happen is definitely giving me the ground and the stepping stones to make it happen for myself. So here I am, taking care of a couple of properties and loving it and having great tenants and realizing that. So I really, it's a strong passion inside of me that I want to teach this to other people, because it is a way that you can create that for yourself. And again, go back to, stepping outside of the box or taking a few risks here or there. It's scary. It's a scary process. It is the largest chunk of money that you're going to put in one place. And that's scary.
It is scary.
But with me holding your hand and, letting you know and talking through experience how possible it is to move up and up from there, I feel like I'm doing a service to people. I feel like I'm helping those 20-year-olds out that want to take it to the next level, and when they're 50, maybe they can retire, or the 30-year-olds or the 40-year-olds. It doesn't matter what age you are, but when you see or when you can understand the process, then it's seamless, absolutely seamless. And so far in my 8 years of real estate, I am definitely working with referrals. I'm definitely working with past clients, and people are getting it. So I really want to spread this message.
Absolutely. Well, and I think one of the things that I'm not hearing you bring to the table. Ooh, we got some music. I forgot to say silence all the speaker devices. so,
Pardon me.
so what I've noticed you bringing to the table is that deep listening, those powerful questions, you know, those coaching skills.
Yes.
But in addition to that, you also bring a lot to the table and actually how to make the right decision. And I've, you know, had personal experience where I was in a position where you were helping me buy a house and a lot of things were coming into play, and you were awesome in that you just said very selfishly, can't even say the word today. Selflessly. Thank you. Takes a team to talk. You know, you actually highlighted some really important things, and you said, and I'm wondering about this and this and this. Mm-hmm. And then let me go back and go, oh yeah, I'm not looking at the whole picture.
Yeah, and it's an emotional process. And
it is very emotional.
Yeah, when you get, again, I really want the homes that people go to be, you know, their sanctuary, their place that they can go to and relax and have peace and quiet, and, you know, whatever it is. And peace and quiet was important to you. I mean, since we're talking about you and I, there might be this amazing house that's absolutely hands down everything that you were looking for, but oh my goodness, there's I-5. You know, so, you know, those things might not work for you. So yeah, it is very important as a real estate broker to point out the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hearing is really knowing and being able to elicit the client's values. Mm-hmm. And being able to help them see, is this house really going to resonate with who they are and what really matters to them, as opposed to here's a house, you know, which I think adds more value. Because on one hand, it's an investment, but if that person is suffering in that investment, there's an emotional cost as well. Even though maybe, you know, 5 years down the road, they're going to be, you know, turning over a lot of dollars. Life is precious. So is our life.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a balancing act for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a balancing act. But again, you know, talking back again to the focused listening, I think that there can always be a compromise. And another family friend, his advice to us kids when we were teenagers was, there's always going to be another home. There's always going to be another home. And to, you know, feel the rush or the hurry or the chaoticness of what the market is today with, you know, cash buyers and the listings are not, you know, we're in a shorter inventory of listings at the moment. There's always going to be another home. And if you come into the process with the peace of mind that, you know, we'll get there. Maybe we won't get there today. Maybe we won't get there next month. But just have the faith that this process can produce what you are looking for.
Well, and what you're reminding me of, you know, with the crazy market that we're in, especially in the Portland, Oregon area, and, you know, I think you were saying 20 plus offers on a single house.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I'm curious, when you are working with a buyer and they get into that place of scarcity, because I'm sure I would feel that way, like, I'm never going to get a home. You know, what are some tips and tricks for, you know, being in that space where you just don't know, that deep uncertainty?
Deep uncertainty, I just went through that with a couple.
Okay.
And they were sweethearts. We're in a transaction. what I did with them was, of course, we're texting, we're emailing, we're on the phone. I said, let's get together and have a call. Let's get together at my office where it's quiet. There's not going to be anybody else around. We're just going to talk about this and talk it through. And maybe the two of you can talk about where you're at, or don't even talk. Just come to this meeting with what's on both of your minds and let me know. And then in that meeting, the three of us will then be able to really discuss what the next steps are. Mm-hmm. So again, back to the round table, back to talking face to face, and figuring out what really the next steps are. Maybe the next step is to take a step back. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, the gal of the relationship was ready to keep moving forward, and the guy was, maybe we need to step back. So the gal and I decided to go out some more and, let him take a step back. And in the process, we found a place, and then we invited him to come, and here we are in a transaction. An amazing home for them. Way more space than they thought that they could get, and in the neighborhood that they wanted.
Perfect. Bingo. Well, even as you're remarking, I'm hearing that deep value of really creating that safe, courageous space to have the real conversation, to process the emotions, to get refocused on what's the best movement forward. Yeah. And also allowing them to make their own choices and just really being supportive along the way.
For sure. Yeah, they need to make their own choices individually, collectively, and then I can help by educating them on what I've seen and what's happened so that they have more information to take to the table and decide.
Wonderful. So I'm curious, we've talked a lot about the importance of communication and relationship, and also your sweet spot at being really present and attentive to the client so that they get supreme customer service with who you are and your skills. What else might you share that's kind of a signature twist to how you work with people? I'm going to force you to talk about yourself, sorry.
Talk about Marika, my own signature. I think I touched on it already. It's really about wanting to share. I want to share with people my experience. I guess I'll go back to a story. When I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I had an opportunity to purchase a home in rural Florida. And we don't know where we're going to be. We might want to live abroad. Many questions bubbled up to the surface. Mm-hmm. And had I went with my instincts then, I would probably still have a house in Laurelhurst. And it might be a rental now. It might be not where I'm living, but I would still have made that step. So I would say my signature piece, when you meet Marika, you're going to meet a real person. You're going to meet somebody who is going to give it back to you real. And you're going to meet somebody who has some experience to grow from and help you grow from. It's all about moving forward.
Absolutely.
And not living in fear I feel like that's cliche to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. So that's kind of where I was in that time in my life. I didn't know. There were so many unknowns, but really want people to get that this process is scary, but at the same time, when you work with me, it doesn't have to be, because I'm going to hold your hand and take you step by step.
Yeah. And it was a little bit quiet, so I'm going to recap what I think you said, just to let me know. What I'm hearing is almost like being fearless so you can make the right choice and invest in your future and in your happiness in the present.
Yeah.
And I also heard something there around intuition.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yep. So I'm imagining you
Oh,
probably, go ahead.
yeah. I said, oh yeah, there's that. I do have
There
that.
is that. And you probably have intuition that helps you with your clients that you tap upon. And do you ever find yourself kind of inviting them to do the same?
Absolutely, yeah. Back to the massage career, when I got my license, the day I got my license, I said, from this moment forward, I am going to live in my intuition, listen to it, not ignore it, and really, when there is that gut feeling, go with your gut feeling. So Marika was, I had been practicing that all my life, and, and really stepped into it in my early 30s.
Mm.
So now when I am with my clients, um, I see things, and instead of not saying, what I might be seeing or feeling or hearing through other words, I'm going to keep it real and say to both clients, okay, this is, I can go back to that same couple. This is what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing from the two of you, from you, and from the two of you, and let's figure out how we can, make this so that we're all staying very
Mm-hmm.
present with each other and congruent in the steps that we need to take.
Well, and what I'm hearing you talk about is, really taking all the information and backtracking it to people so
Yeah,
that they can really hear everything and see everything for themselves, and then they can make a much more informed decision.
absolutely. It's all their decision, and that definitely is, something that I say at the end of every phone call. I'm telling you things, I'm going to give you advice, I'm going to tell you stories about my history, about my past, how I've done things, but at the end of the day, it's always your choice and what
Yeah.
you want to do. Absolutely.
How
Yeah.
coachy of you. Oh,
Yeah,
but
taking the training with you was amazing for us. I really, really, really appreciate that. And thank you so much. I am so glad that I joined that class. I'm wondering, was it like 8? Was it 7? How many years ago was that? Yeah,
it was a while ago.
we're just going to date ourselves. But anyway,
I know
thank
we
you
can't
for
do that
that.
anymore. We're 20.
Thank you for the coaching that you gave me. It was amazing, and it's really definitely taken me to the next level with my people.
Well, and it's always a pleasure to have, devoted lifelong learners around. So it's always inspiring. So I'm curious, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, I know you service the Portland area and also outskirts
Yes,
like
I do.
McMinnville, and
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
do they get a hold of you and what areas do you work in?
Okay, so a little background here again. I have lived in Portland since 1980, so pretty much all of my adult life. I know Portland like the back of my hand. People actually call me, and my friends call me, and they're like, Marika, I'm at the corner of 7th and Northeast, yada yada. How do I get to so-and-so? Anyway, now that we have GPS, they're not calling me as much. But before GPS, I was getting those phone calls because I know Portland like the back of my hand. So yes, I work all in Portland. I was raised in McMinnville, so I helped some family members out in McMinnville. But I would say Oregon City to St. John's, um, Southeast, I don't know, maybe 150th to Hillsborough. It's a pretty big section.
That is a big section.
It's a pretty big section. And as far as knowing areas, I know Portland really well. Making sure that you do the research, making sure that you sit down, take the time to do the comparable market analysis. Um, Anything can be discovered and realized. And if I don't have the answer, I can go to a colleague that maybe has been working in that area more than I have. But it's all about the research, taking the time, doing the research, doing the work. I guess another piece of Marika is that I am first generation German, and I know
Yep.
how to work hard. So working hard is not a problem for me. I'll be there for you.
That's awesome. And they can reach you at what website?
All right. ElevatePDX.com.
So www.elevate PDX.
www.elevatepdx.com. And my phone number is 503-317-3379. Again, that's 503-317-3379.
Awesome. Well, it's been really fun to connect with you over the internet. And since we live so far apart, we'll have to do it in person next time.
Sounds like a plan.
I know. And I think it's now time to turn the fans back on because I don't know about you, but it's about 95 in here. So, yeah. Cool. Time to turn the AC on. Welcome to Portland weather, right?
Everybody's wondering why they don't have an AC unit right now.
I know. Oh, well, thank you so much for being here and being with me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at one of the potlucks again and
cool.
Go from there.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Bye.